Hi everybody, welcome to Midweek. I hope you're having a great week. Today, I want to talk about something that maybe is not the most uplifting subject. It's called dying. Today's Rosalind Carter's service. I was taken by her 99-year-old husband who made the effort, certainly couldn't drive. President Carter is on hospice, and he's 160-some mile journey to see his wife. And I was just, again, moved by his commitment that there are certain things that you just don't want to miss. One of them, if you're alive, is your wife's funeral. I think the reason why that grabbed me is I'm in a stage in my life, and people do this when they're in their 60s. You're kind of parenting upstream and downstream. My kids are out of the home, they're running their own families, but you still remain a parent. You're always a parent to your kids. But I'm actually parenting upstream, and that is to a mom who's in a memory center and is in and out of ER. And I can find myself in those moments kind of wishing to get through things. And I realize that when you're walking through these stages, you have to fight against the natural tendency to get through something. Sometimes it's better to just sit in it. I've had a lot of time recently in ERs, emergency rooms. And they're not fast places. They're places run by really servant individuals. But you always want to get through it. You want to get to the next. You want to get it diagnosed. You want to get it fixed. And as I was watching President Carter and just kind of the process of going through this, it struck me again that when I was younger, it was expected. I want to go to the next level, want to go to college, want to get married, want to buy a house. And you're always yearning for that next stage. And then you come to a place where you're moving and walking a person through the process of virtually living out their last days or their last season, their last years, it might be. And if you still live with that passion to get to the next stage, well, the next stage is death. And sometimes along that way, you might miss a few opportunities. Reflection, storytelling, reminders. And I've had a number of those options and opportunities recently, realizing that there are some really special things, but challenging things. End-of-life transitions are not easy. They're great challenges. They are, for the people going through them, painful oftentimes. I just was interacting with a precious family that used to be in our church. They moved up into Washington, and Sam Kolpovich, he's just been a dear, dear friend. 63 years, not a long time, but he is now graduated into the presence of Christ. But Sam, he had one of those journeys of virtually, I think it was 26, 27 surgeries. And I mean, we're talking about some severe ones, brain surgeries. And yet in each of those stages and each of those journeys, he lived with such a beautiful presence. He was in the moment. He was filled with an unbelievable delight and a positive attitude. My journey in our family, as I was watching the Carters, realize there are these seasons that you go through that you don't want to rush. They may be journeys that are difficult. Sometimes it's marked by pain, as it was for our friend Sam. It's a season, though, that even sometimes the littlest expressions of love and care and service are really needed. I was reading on the decision to have President Carter go to his wife's funeral, and he was having nothing to do, even though it's a 160-mile journey. He's on hospice. He's in his last stages. He wouldn't have missed it. Well over 70 years married together. They've been through it all. I mean, challenges, presidential stuff, and different things. And yet, his commitment in this last season, this last stage with his wife, is he wasn't going to miss the opportunity to honor her and to express his love. And I realize that's true for all of us, especially for those of you who are parenting upstream. This last season, and the reason you don't want to rush it is because it's in that moment and in those seasons you get an opportunity to love, to serve, to do things that you probably thought you would never do for your parent. But it's a way to express how much you love them and appreciate them. I was reading about President Carter when he was 95, and he had just gotten out of the hospital, and he needed to recoup. But he'd made a commitment to go build a home somewhere in the South, I don't remember where. Against virtually all suggestions and encouragement, President Carter said, I'm not missing this. And he made it, and he helped build a home, 95 years of age. I really respect that. I respect him. I appreciate him as he has aged and as he walked out of the White House, and it wasn't a great season for him. He has been probably one of the best ex-presidents I've ever seen. But he doesn't miss the season that he's in. And even though he's 95, he was building a home. And when he's 99, he's making his way on a journey to love and to honor his wife. Don't rush any season of your life, especially the ones that are painful. It's in those seasons that I am discovering that it is a deeper time to serve. It is a reflective time. It is a time where even through the difficulty and the pain and the awkwardness and all of the things that you find yourself doing, God seems to show up with a special grace. And he gives you an endurance, and he gives you a grit, and sometimes just a deeper love to not miss people and to enjoy some of the things that can happen. I was just talking with somebody who was in a family where somebody was dying. And there was a moment that was captured between the one who was passing away and family member, a healing that occurred, a story that was told, something that was misunderstood. And I thought, what if they would have rushed through that just to get to the relief of death? And they would have missed a conversation that brought immense healing. Don't miss in any season that you're in, but especially for those of you who are on the end, and for those of you who parent upstream and care for people on the end. Those seasons, the journey of dying, that last leg, however long it may last, it's not a season to get through. It's a season to live in. It's a season that God shows up in some really, really unique and wonderful ways. Praying today for the entire Carter family as they grieve Rosalind's passing. I'm thankful for them. I think they've honestly been a wonderful model in a pretty barbaric culture in the political realm. They have dignified that area for me in many ways and taught me how to live well in our last seasons of life. I appreciate them so much, and I want to continue to advise or to kind of encourage us to be praying for them. And other families, the Kolpovich family and other families in our church that are walking through that season of a loved one, a family member who has passed away. Those are seasons not to rush through. They're ones to sometimes sit in. God does some of his most healing and good work in that place. This weekend, we're going to be heading back into the Gospel of John, and it is the second week of Advent. We're going to continue just to anticipate the, again, coming of Christ and the gift that he has been to us. I hope you have a great week. God bless you.